How you're doing, Ralfy here, Ralfy Custom. A quick vlog to finish the fucking next turn Clyde handlebars on our Sean's FXR. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, so I've got a stall set up. I don't know why that's still here. We've not got a stall set up, have we? I've got a heat shrink, which we'll need after we've made the joints. We've got some adhesive tape. We've got a fucking box cutter, Stanley knife with a brand new blade in, which is important. And we've got our strippers and cutters, and of course the thing that we're going to be working on. So the first thing I'm going to do, I know I want 20 inches, so I'm going to go from the end of my bench to 20 inches, yeah, and I'm going to make a mark like that. Now what I'll do, I'll go through the different colours, like that's white, so I'll find a white and I'll get 20 inches. Black, red, orange, brown, green and grey. And if I don't have those colours, then I will get a piece of paper and I'll write down, and I'll put, instead of grey, because I don't see a grey, I probably have got one, but I'll put blue, I'll put grey, and then blue in brackets. I'll write it on here, you know. So we're going to go from grey to blue, yeah, so we don't lose track. Once they're all taped together, once they're all soldered together, and this end's put back on, you won't see any difference from one end to the other. You know, if you peeled that insulation back and looked at what you'd got, you'd see the same colours as this end, but the bits in the middle might not match up. It don't really matter, don't fucking matter at all, as long as I don't lose track. So I'm going to cut the 20-inch pieces of wire. I'm going to strip this back to fucking hell, to at least here, halfway, yeah. And then I'm going to start this end, I'm going to stagger my joints. So I'll cut one and I'll go 2 or 3 inches, cut the next. Cut the next, cut the next, cut the next. Then you don't end up with a big flamenco's kneecap. You don't end up with a bundle of wires that have got a big fat bit in, like a fucking python that swallowed a fucking rabbit. And that'll fucking get in the way of threading it through. We stagger our joints. And you're not having soldered joints, touching soldered joints, even though there'll be, each one can tape to that, you know, it's just good practice. So there we go. I did end up going grey to blue because I didn't have any fucking grey on that spool, on that roll. There's me 7 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a black eye in. There's the staggered joins. Cut one, go back 2 inch. Cut another, go back 2 inch. Don't matter which one. It makes no fucking difference at all. But now you can see, instead of having the flamenco's kneecap, we'll have a bit of a flow, yeah, to where all the joins are. And that grey will turn into a blue, but it will emerge as a grey. So hopefully, well, not hopefully, it'll be fucking spot on. It could be any colour, could be pink with fucking orange spots, it don't matter. Yeah, that's going to be the bridging piece. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to strip back all of these ends about 1/2 inch or so, all of them. That's ready to get soldered. And then we'll get the soldering arm warmed up, we'll get some heat shrink put on, and we'll get making the joints up. So, yeah, these are great bits of kit, look. Well, let's pick one. It's hard to do reaching round where misses the camera, but we'll judge about 1/2 inch, and then we'll strip it off. we'll judge about 1/2 inch. It's actually got a measure along there, so you don't need to judge. You can see, look, it's there. Yeah, and they can make them all pretty uniform, and so on and so forth. Do all of them about the same length, near as fuck it is to swear in. That way you won't get one longer than the rest when you come to bundle them all together. When you come to wrap it, before you feed it through the handlebars, if these are all the right length, but the white one's too fucking long, you'll have a situation where they'll all lay where you want them to lay, and this will have a fucking bump in it. Look, it'll be like that. Which means when you tape it up, you've got a fucking flamingo's kneecap situation going on. It don't matter to this because it's free out the end, you know, where it's gonna join this, it's gonna fucking don't matter. But it's just good practice. So standardise with a mark on the bench. Standardise with your about 1/2 inch with your about. That's near enough. That's your fabricobbling if you're watching DJ, isn't it? That's your fabricobbling, you know. We're getting near a spaceship than fucking Garden Gate for this exercise because we want it to go well. We don't want any fuck ups or any wires losing the will to live and throwing themselves off the fucking bench. So that's how we do that. Right, now what we do, which I don't fucking real. I don't think I can do this and film it at the same time. We're going to wrap this wire around the other, and then we're going to wrap the other around this wire, if that makes sense. So we end up with 2 wires like that, yeah, and then we'll go over to the soldering iron, flood the joint with red hot solder, and it's ready to heat shrink. Right, so now we can go ahead and solder it up. I've already gave it a quick tin off camera, but I had to wait for the soldering iron to warm up a bit more because it's really fucking cold in there. And we'll get that nice and warm and we flood the joint with solder, applying solder to the wire to make sure it flows nice. And there we go, and we'll repeat that for each and every one of these until we've got all of those together like this black one is. So just again, now the soldering iron's warmed up, we'll get it warm, apply a little bit of solder to the iron, and you can see it's capillarying up, it's actually tinning the joint, which is great. And as that goes up to temp, we just wipe a bit of solder into the joint like that. Super duper, extra strong, everything's cool. And then we finish those joints off with a little bit of heat shrink, or heat shrink to say it properly, making sure it covers the joint, and then we just flash it off with a little torch. Like so. There you go. Press it down with my cold fingers, and that joint's fucking good as gold. We'll do that with the rest of them, obviously, with the rest of the spaghetti, and then we'll look at whipping it all together in a manageable form to get through the handlebars. Obviously we've got to do the same with the other control. What I've done, those of you that are eagle-eyed will have realised I made a bit of a fucking schoolboy error and I started soldering the wires onto the plug end instead of the switchgear end. But of course I've got to thread them through the handlebars, so I've had to unsolder those and start again. Such is life. Okay, so now they're done, we can hold it gently in the vise and we can start to bind it together. Now it's important that you keep this tape tight, yeah, keep the wires tight, And what I've done before I started was make sure they're not twisted up. So they're going to be as small as they can be. And I'm going to work my way down, taping these up with, you see I'm using PVC tape, not cloth tape, because cloth tape will bite in the holes and bind and fucking be a pain in the arse. So we're also starting at the top end and working down, so that the way the tape lies favours being pulled through as well, you know. The edge is going to be caught this way, not this way. It's the plan. And I'm going to tape this all the way to the end and include all of the loose ends. They're all going to be taped up. They'll be gone. There'll just be tape at the end, and we'll uncover those once we've been through. We'll cut the tape off, but we can't have loose ends and get through the handlebars, so we need to bind it completely up, make a proper, like a pigtail out of it, if you like, ponytail, whatever. So we'll complete the loom with it, wrapping of the tape, and then it's ready to feed through the bars. We'll do the same with the other switch gear, obviously, and then we'll go from there. We'll have the jolly adventure of trying to feed this through the handlebars. Okay, so so this wiring is pretty stiff with the tape on. We're able to feed it in the hole, and I've worked out that somewhere around this join here we should have cable at the bottom here, and I can fucking feel the end of it now. Again, if the stars align, we can give it a little push, catch that end, which I can feel it, so we can use a pick in the hole and try and grab it. Better off with two hands, to be fair, so off camera I'll do my best to, it's fucking right there, I can almost get it. Hold on, let's see if I can do it on camera. So you should, there, look, around the front, bollocks. Come on, fucker, there it is. You see it? Just see the copper, look, unfocused. Unfocused, bit blurry, but that's the end of the white of the longest one. And we need to just catch that and pull it out. So give it a bit more of a shove. It should be through further now. We should have more to get at, but yeah, we have. It is a fucking faff, but we'll endeavour. Come on, you bastard. I'll get it off with my two hands. I need two hands. And there we go. That's it. That's the start of that loom. So we can push from one end and pull from the other end and work it out until the switch gear is in place. Look, push on that end. Push, push, push. Pull, pull, pull. And eventually we'll work all of the strands out and run them down the side of the centre console. So now we're at the joining up stage, just like before. We've got a staggered joints. We do a twist round one, then twist round t'other. Flood the joint with a nice solder, and don't forget to put your heat shrink on before you make it up. That's it, really. I'll just run through these wires, then do the same on the other side. We need to extend, put 20 inches on the black wire for the indicators, which I suspect is an earth, being black. So really you could run it to earth somewhere else rather than where it connects, but we won't fuck with that. We'll do that at the same time. We'll get it all wrapped up and all clipped up, and then look at putting it back together. That's all the wiring done. All clipped up and tidy and back where it was. Covers back on. Handlebars as tight as I dare do the riser bolts. There's a couple that have not got the best caps, the best sockets in the world. Could do with that one and that one, I think, or that one and that one. could do with replacing. Again, not my gig, but everything works. Indicators work, both sides. ILO works, fucking start works, the full shebang. So what's next on the agenda is I've got to make a new front brake line, haven't I? So what I'm going to do is take the old ends, because we can use those again with new olives, and take some beautiful blue braided brake line and make one up. Right, so we're going to reuse these ends. There seems to be some big myth about making a braided brake line. It suggests it's more difficult than it is, but as you're about to see, it's not. I was just undoing that and tapping down the old line. Yeah, the old line, and then I'm going to get a punch and just push it back in. Well, and out it fucking comes. So that's scrap, we don't need that, but we need that and that. Then what we'll do, we'll get a new line that we've just cut with a big fuck off pair of side cutters, or flush cutters if you fucking Yankee. Make it round, and this won't go on because this has got a lovely blue covering. I might fucking go on. Might fucking do it, but no. What I need to do is just trim that back a little bit, so I'll just take my box cutter and come back about ½ inch and go all the way around like so, and then make a slit, peel that off. Now we can get that on, and I'll wrestle that down a bit further, because what we need to do is not get stuck by the fucking braiding, but we need to get in with something, and we need to just open that braided out a bit, because we're going to put an olive on the end. We don't want to trap the braiding even, so give yourself plenty of room. And I'll grab an olive out the back, look. And this is where it gets fucking fiddler. Is we need to go over the PTFE tubing inside, over the Teflon, whatever it's called, plastic fucking tubing, but not trap any braiding. So sometimes takes a few goes. You can get it on a bit and give it a wiggle, and then take it off and see what's been left, and then work at it again. And in the end, you'll end up trapping none of it, and you can then push that on as hard as you fucking can. And I don't know if you can pick it up, but you can look down the end of the olive and see that the inner tubing's right up to it. Yeah. Then it's a case of pushing that onto the banjo fitting. Give it another wiggle to make sure, and then push your nut off and onto the threads, and away you go, Captain. There she blows. So the old 11/16 spaniel, and we're just wind that on. That's biting now. I can feel it hard on the olive, which is just what we want. Give it a few goes. Don't be afraid to nip it up, you know. We need it to seal. Happy days. We'll do the same with the other end, then we'll go and offer it up and make sure that these are the right orientation. You might need one straight up and down and one flat, or one at an angle, or one following that, you know. So you don't get a twist in this line when it's fitted on the bike light. So that brake line's fitted now, and we're just bleeding it through. I'm using a vacuum bleeder. It goes on the bleed nipple, and we create a vacuum with this hand pump. Some of you might already be familiar with devices similar to this, but it's none of my business. And then we top up the reservoir as it sucks it through, and that'll bleed it through for us solo like, so it's just sucking clean brake fluid through the entire system, purge the system of air. So that just leaves the air filter and the petrol tank to put back on. I'm going to do the air filter next, and then I'm going to fucking drill and tap that out. That's all I can do, really. I'm hoping I can find centre. If not, we'll get a good fix in, you know. I'm sure it'll be right. That's that drilled out. Fucking hell, red, rusty in there. I wrongly assumed that this would go straight through somehow. They'd drill it right the way through, and they made it, but if not, it's a blind hole. And I've bottomed the drill out, so now we're going to see if I can get in to tap it. I reckon I can, just with a regular tap and regular wrench. Look, this room. So get a bit of lube on it, get it tapped out, get all the swarf away, get a tank back on. Yeah, so that chased out nice. I could have probably filmed myself putting it in, winding it in. It's just a bit crunchy on the start up, and now it's clean the threads out lovely. We'll give it a blowout to get rid of all the detritus, and then we're on with the fucking tanks. So there we go. I've added a replacement dome from my private collection, and copious amounts of fucking anti-seize copper slips to the bolts, so we don't have the same issue in the future. That's too long. Oh, interesting, Mr. Bond. You have to have a quick swap round then. That short one can go in there. That's just match them up. Doesn't matter. Be fine. And there we have it. Fucking I need to come back a long way to get it in shot. Here's the mirror. All done. Cables, brake line, wires, tanks, fittings, machine the yokes, ran the wires internally, whereas they weren't before, apart from the indicator ones, because there's not provision. I didn't want to go hacking up the fucking switchgear. I had two little wires that can run along the cables there. All runs up, all does good. Cleared out that balance pipe as well. Blew that out, got the air lines right through it. I got a long spouter, because we've got a long blower offer. So we've had, look at the shit on the end of that. That's from blowing out the fucking hole in the top mounting here that was fucked up. So we've done that. We have fixed and repaired and fitted. Happy days. That's it. Sorted.